Good afternoon, guys. Today is February 10th, 2:30 in the afternoon over here on the East Coast. So, I wanted to do today's vlog about essentially decisions and having the freedom of choice. So, I noticed this is very important for people. I was listening to something yesterday, I can't remember by who, but they were talking about the impact that your decisions make, and sometimes how your dreams can be pushed back just from you thinking that others people's decisions have to guide your life, and that's not necessarily the case. You can honestly do whatever you want in life if you put any sort of effort into doing it. um, as you like go through the high school um, portion of your life, you have a certain passion that you want to do, and then realities start to set in, and sometimes reality will end up pushing your dreams back. But you shouldn't let that deter you from whatever it is that you want to pursue. There's been people who I've known in the past who just never ever gave up on their dreams. They decided to you know focus on their dreams and go after them full force, and they didn't stop, and it didn't matter how long it took, whether it happened overnight or whether it took their entire life. They worked towards that dream. So I want to stress that to today's people watching this vlog, that you can honestly do whatever you want. There's nobody or nothing that can box you in. Your only limitations are set by yourself. They're not set by anybody else. People may try and discourage you from doing certain things in your life, but why listen to them? Have they been discouraged and they believe that discouragement? I tend to not try to believe when people tell me that I can't do anything. On the contrary, I tend to use it as motivation to do it, to a certain extent that I'm happy with, that they may not be happy with, or that they may not thought was achievable. But I never let anybody else's decisions or beliefs affect me. I let my own determinations affect that. And if I have something that I want to go after, I will go after it as best as I can and to the best of my ability. Um, so I did want to leave you guys with that today. Probably going to make this video a little bit shorter, but I did want to, express the importance of everyday decisions, and where they land you in the future. Every day you make countless decisions, whether you realize it or not, and it's those decisions that affect you in the future. So you may not be thinking about the future so much, but the decisions you make on a daily basis are what affect you. So think about that next time you're deciding on what you want to do, or where you want to go, or if you're actually satisfied with your life. Have the decisions you made in the last, let's say, 24 hours supported all those other goals? Are they in tune with what you want to do, in tune with what you want to accomplish in the future? Because if they're not, then you need to change those decisions. And it's as simple as that. It's the decision that gets the action going, that you need to make in order to make something happen. Whenever you don't decide, you end up 90% of the time doing nothing, and that puts you back at square one. But deciding to do something is the first step in getting anything done. You have to, mentally decide to do it, and then go out there and do it. And don't stop until you're absolutely happy with the outcome. And even if you're not, like I've said in the past, at least you know you've tried. And it was the decision that you made, that nobody else had influence over. I can't tell you how many times in my life, probably countless number of times, where people have tried to discourage me or tell me that I can't do something, tell me that it's not achievable. And I'll use one shining example from the military, where I was going through air assault training. It's like a helicopter insertion, sling load operations course that is kind of a prestigious course in the military. It's right alongside with Airborne School and a couple other more, you know, stuff like that. So I remember thinking in that class, and it was the very first day. It was day 0, so it's not even the first day. So as you're getting into that course, you're thinking, oh, this is going to be good, and they're actually talking you up. The instructors, because they want you to succeed, believe it or not, but they let you decide whether or not you're going to succeed. It's not up to the instructor, it's up to you. So I started the course with about 12 friends of mine. And we all, I think a majority of us made it through day 0. But I met my fate on day 0, believe it or not. As I was going to climb up this rope, because you have to climb up this rope and get over this obstacle. As I was climbing up this rope, which takes, some coordination and some strength to be able to get up the rope, as I was climbing up it, I met, a wall. I was exhausted because they work you out, like they call it smoking you in the military, where they literally sometimes can, and I think the term came from that, because when you're working out in the morning, and if it's cooler out in the mornings, you can sometimes see the smoke coming out, from the top of your head, leaving if it's cool enough. So because of all the physical exercise and the heat your body created, and it's being counteracted with the cooler temperature outside. So they would, exercise us vigorously before we even started the event. So they try to drain you of all your energy, and then they let you go onto the event. So as I was going up this rope, I realized, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it. And I went up the rope, and I ended up getting stuck. So the instructor said, he looked back to me, or looked up at me where I was at, and said, come back down. I'll give you one more try. Because in the, through that air assault school, you have what's called like a double elimination for each phase of the course. So you can do something wrong twice in the 3 phases that there are in the course. And I ended up doing something wrong, I think, 2 out of the 3 phases of the course, which was a big deal, because there was several times where I thought that, man, this may not be for me. I just may have stepped a little bit over my boundaries. And I literally signed up for that course on a whim. My chain of command, the people who were over me, thought it'd be a good idea for me to go. And I don't necessarily like to disagree with those people, appointed over me. So I said, yeah, sure, why not? I'll give it my best. So I went. 12 of us went, actually, and there's certain criteria you have to do to even get to go, like compete, throughout your individual ranks to basically send the best of the best, because you represent the company at that point. So, like I said, bringing you back to the rope, as I was sitting down looking up, I was trying to build up the courage. And the other thing I was trying to do was let my muscles relax, because they were very fatigued. But I was trying to build up the courage to tell myself that I'm here for a specific reason, and I am going to get up over this obstacle. And I went up for the second climb, and I met that same wall that I did on the very first climb. And as I'm deliberating to myself, the instructor tells me, you got it, and I told myself that I had it. And I mustered up the strength to pull myself up over the obstacle that was in the way that everybody has to get over. So as I was doing that, I felt a sigh of relief once my knee hit that obstacle. Like I was overcome with joy, and this is still on day 0. But it was at that time that I thought, like, man, I could have just easily gave up. There was a couple of my friends who got washed out on day 0 because they couldn't get through the initial phases. And it's tough. I have to admit it's tough. There's a reason that they have such a high failure rate, is because it is a tough school. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. But the decisions that come from within are what sets you apart. They try to look to find the weak people and wash them out, because you don't just want to hand everybody over, the badge, so to speak, saying that you did it when you didn't earn it. So, and then there were some other times that I failed through the course where I got second chances and I was able to fix my mistakes around the second time, and everything went well. And at graduation, there was 2 of the initial 12 of the crew I went with that graduated, me being one of those 2. The other one was a person who was highly decorated officer who had been through numerous types of schools like that and was very well adjusted to that type of atmosphere. And he congratulated me, from the bottom of his heart, telling me that it takes, a certain amount of determination and to do things like that. So I did want to share that story with you and the decisions I made that day in order to make that badge, that achievement, a reality in my life. And like I said, there was times I thought throughout the course where I thought that it wasn't for me. I bit off more than I can chew. This is just out of my reach. It's out of my realm. And in reality, I conquered it. It did take hard work, determination, and deciding that I wanted to do that. Nobody else was deciding it for me. I was seeing people not succeed around me and friends falling from the class, and I almost thought at a certain point, like, man, if I fell out of the class, then it's okay. Most of the other people failed out. It'll be all right. No, but I wanted to set myself apart from these individuals because I knew that I could do it at a certain point. When I was getting towards that last phase, I knew that I had what it would take to do it. And I'll tell you another quick little story, but during the course of that training, there was one day where one of the instructors, I don't know what it was about him, but he had gotten, I don't know what it was. But we woke up that morning, went to formation, and we're going to do physical training, PT. And as we're getting there, he tells us to drop all our things, get in like a certain position to be able to do sit-ups. So we're thinking, fine, we'll do some sit-ups. And we literally did sit-ups for the entire session of physical exercise. Now, when I tell you that is unheard of, uncommon, just not characteristic, you typically want to work out different body parts. I think he said something along the lines afterwards that he didn't get a chance to work abs yesterday, so he really wanted to focus in on it. And by the time we were done, like an hour and a half of just doing sit-ups, and this is one at a time. Like, he would ask everybody up, and then we'd wait for every single person to crunch up and be in the sit-up position, and then everybody down, and then once everybody laid flat, he'd have you come back up again. We did that for a total of 600 times over the course of that morning. And I remember the bell going off in the morning for other people, and that's the bell to, like, the formation is coming together. We were still doing exercises. We were there well before everybody else. Let's say, 4 in the morning. And then come 6:30, when everybody else tends to show up for PT around that time, we were still doing these same repetitions of sit-ups. Mind you, nobody's holding your feet. We're not taking turns. This is individual determination type of exercise where they truly try to wash out the weak, because they had people walking around, and if you weren't up, you were getting in trouble. They figure out some sort of exercise for you to do that you could do. But if not, you were doing sit-ups with the rest of the people. And it's things like that kind of motivate me when I look back on it, and the decisions that I made throughout that, small portion of my life, that course it wasn't long in length. It was like 10 days, but it was an intense 10 days. But looking back on it, I'm so happy I decided to stick with it. I'm so happy that I believed in myself to get it done. And I learned a lot about myself during those 10 days that I didn't think was possible. I didn't know anything about helicopters, and I have a basic fundamental knowledge about them. I didn't know anything about sling load operations, which is what helicopters can carry and how to secure those things. And now I have, again, some knowledge about that. I didn't know how to, rappel from the top of a roof or insert into, using rope insertion techniques. And I have, a knowledge about that now. So, again, I'm very happy with the decisions I made throughout that small portion of my life and everything that's led me up until now. And I'm starting to think that decisions impact you more and more on a daily basis than people realize. A simple decision is to stay in bed for an extra 5 minutes longer will set the tone for your day. Now, that tone could either be positive or negative. The majority of the time, trying to stay in bed for 5 minutes longer really depends on how much sleep you got. Do you deserve that extra 5 minutes of rest is what I'm trying to get at. So those are things to look out for, and some more guidelines for this. So it's those decisions, and again, you have the freedom to choose almost anything that you want to do. Another way I'd like to tie into this is the educational piece. You have the freedom to do whatever you want in this country within limited guidelines. But if you have a goal to be a doctor, go to school and be a doctor. There should be nothing to stop you from doing that. And if you have a goal to be a musician, figure out a way to find the steps to take that. Doctors are a little bit more cut and dry as far as you go to school for it. Being a successful musician, there are some schools for it, but it could require some creativity on your part in order to make that happen. So, again, don't let other people's decisions guide you into what you want to do. Don't let, the realities of life box you in, because it's the people who don't do that who end up being really successful. And that's probably the most important thing you can take away from this, is if you decide to do what you're passionate about, then people will end up noticing, and you'll be happy, and you'll be good at it. So why not just take the chance and do it anyways? You could be mediocre at something that you're okay with doing, or you could be great at something that you're really excited about doing. To me, it makes perfect sense to do the thing that you're excited about doing and be great at it. Why not? So it's another reason I do these vlogs, is to, because I enjoy doing them, and then I have a certain belief and faith in myself that what I'm doing is good. To me, it's not bad in any way, shape, or form. So this video ended up going a little bit longer. I hope you guys enjoyed the short story that I put in there, so you guys can relate. And look forward to speaking to you guys again tomorrow. And we'll see what the rest of today has in store for me. We'll talk to you guys then.